Hello, my name's Anabel Yorke and I run the jewellery sales at Olympia Auctions. I started working in jewellery 18 years ago when I worked for a prop house which supplied films and TV with costume jewellery that replicated the originals. This sounds like great fun, but after a while it got a bit boring and I wanted to deepen my knowledge, so I thought I should become a gemologist. This sounded easier than it was, and after 2 years I qualified as a Fellow of the Gemological Association of Great Britain and subsequently went and qualified as a diamond grader. During this time I also worked with a dealer and in a shop in the Burlington Arcade, and once I got my qualification I went and worked at Phillips Auction House and then Sotheby's. When I started at Sotheby's I started up their jewellery department in Olympia, and it was there that I met Matthew Barton, who now works with me at Olympia Auctions in the Works of Art department, and the rest is history. During these strange times, all the experts at Olympia Auctions have been asked to do a little talk about their subject, and I thought the area in jewellery that most needed demystifying was probably pearls. They are affected by discoveries in science. The markets change the value, and they have the greatest fluctuation of value in, arguably, in all the jewellery. So let's start with the four main types. You have natural pearl, cultured pearls, freshwater pearls, and Similan pearls. So let's start with the one that I would most like to find in your jewellery box, which are the natural pearls. And these command great sums at auction. And it's no wonder, since they were very difficult to find. At the end of the 19th century, divers were diving in very primitive diving equipment to the bottom of the sea to find them. And then when they brought them to the top of the water, they then had to find pearls that would match them in size and colour, and it was a very torturous process. They were valued really on the basis of how rare they were, which meant that pearls at this time were more valuable than diamonds. There's a lovely story that illustrates this. Maisie Plant, the wife of the railroad tycoon Morton Plant, was walking in a New York street where she saw a 2-row necklace of natural pearls which she really wanted. Pierre Cartier had not been able to afford a shop in New York at the time, but then came along Maisie, whose husband Morton decided that he didn't have the £1 million in cash, dollars in cash, that the necklace commanded, but he did have some prime real estate on Fifth Avenue, and he swapped the necklace for the building, which Cartier is still in to this day. So the next variety is cultured pearl, and this is the type of pearls I would most suspect you have. Cultured pearls were discovered at the beginning of the 20th century by a clever man, Mikimoto, who replicated what would happen naturally in an oyster. There's an old adage that a grain of sand creates a pearl, which is partially true, but it's probably more likely that when they're eating or breathing, a pearl will take in a particle or a parasite and cover that in this amazing substance called nacre, which is what gives the pearl its unique luster. So the nacre builds up in layers over the irritant, and the more layers and the thinner those layers, the better the luster of the pearl. If a pearl is formed in warm water, you're likely to get a better luster. So the seas around Tahiti and the South Seas are famous for their pearls. There is another type of pearl that you might have heard of called an Nicoya pearl, and these are specific to the oyster that they're formed in. Their average size is around 7 millimetres, whilst the average South Sea or Tahitian pearl is about 11 millimetres. And they are formed by putting a bead inside the oyster, and then the nacre forms around the bead, and you get about 2 Akoya pearls per harvest. So by the 1950s, cultured pearls were everywhere. Any well-to-do girl would have a row of pearls to go with her twin set, just like our queen would. But that's the problem. There are too many cultured pearls that were manufactured then. And also, pearls are organic, so they scratch and they're very soft. Usually they are put in jewellery boxes along with other hard stones such as diamonds, rubies, emeralds, which are valued for the fact that they are hard and they scratch the surface of the pearl. When you apply perfume, you spray your neck and your pearls. And of course the alcohol in the perfume damages the surface of the pearls. I've even heard people say that they wear pearls in a swimming pool because they think it's a good idea to put pearls in water where they come from. But the problem is they forget there's chlorine in that water, which again damages the surface of the pearl and so is not an advisable thing to do. That 2-row Cartier necklace fetched in 1956 when Maisie Plant died, the equivalent in today's $100,000 compared to the $1 million that they were originally sold for, which just shows how the effect of the cultured pearl market had on natural pearls. So I hear you say, but I've seen cultured pearls in auction, and so how come you can't sell them? Well, the problem is dealers do put pearls into auction and they usually are brand new and of the Tahitian South Sea variety, so bigger than 11 millimetres. I will sometimes sell cultured pearls second-hand, but it usually is because of their clasp, and that's what carries the value. I have here 3 rows of cultured pearls that were my granny's, and they're not very good. I mean, you can see that they're not very round and regular, but it's the clasp that commands the value. The pearls are really worthless. So if I was valuing this, I'd only value the clasp. So the third type of pearl are freshwater pearls, and the clue really is in the name. They aren't formed in the sea, they're formed in streams and rivers and in mussels rather than oysters. In the last 10 years they have dramatically improved. I'm wearing some here and you can see they are very round and quite white, but a bit bouton in silhouette. You see they're slightly squashed, but they're pretty convincing. If you put a cultured pearl next to a freshwater pearl, I would find it quite difficult to tell the difference. They are now widely available on the internet and in department stores. But there was a time where they were much more ovoid in shape and were often quite ridged. But they are very easy to harvest, and a lot can be harvested in one go, which means that they're very affordable, and also means there are a lot out there, and so they are also worth nothing at auction, just like cultured pearls, even if they're brand new. So the last type of pearl is the Similan Pearl, which is a fake pearl, and people have been trying to invent something that looked like a pearl for hundreds of years. The funniest one, I think, is in Elizabethan times, where they got herring scales from the fish and put them in glass hollow beads with wax. I don't know how effective that would be, but anyway, it's been recorded as a technique used. The first pearls that would be convincing, I think fake pearls that would be difficult to spot, came after the Second World War, when plastics got better at simulating the unique nacre luster of a pearl. And the old wives' tale of being able to tell a natural pearl from a fake pearl by putting them on your teeth is actually quite a good one. So what you do is you get the pearls and you run across your teeth. If they're warm and smooth, they're probably plastic, but if they're slightly gritty and cold, they're most likely to be cultured, natural or fresh water. So that you can tell the difference between a simulant and a natural pearl. However, in these days of COVID-19, probably not the best test to try at home. I'm an avid fan of the crown, but what ruins my suspension of disbelief are the actors wearing terrible plastic pearls. Which brings me nicely round to my invitation today to come virtually on a house tour and look at your jewellery to see if we can work out how much they would fetch at auction. Obviously I can't be 100% accurate because jewellery valuations are based on the size of stones and the quality, but my expertise and my instinct should probably help me give you an idea of how much they're worth. However, if you had any past valuations or important information, it would be very useful to have that before the virtual tour or even during the tour. So Olympia Auctions are still building our sales and taking consignments for them, and we would like to offer you this free chance, and I would love the challenge. So if you want to get us to contact you and arrange a time, do this via email, and I look forward to meeting you and your jewellery. Thank you very much.